welcome to our video ministry at Robbinsdale Parkway United Church of Christ called Grace, Gratitude, and Generosity. These videos are such a wonderful way for us to be in this kind of relationship with each other. But it is not a substitute for us being together and learning about each other. So comment on the video. Let us know who you are. And if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe, and know that this is a relationship that is being offered in a new way. Now, one of the questions that often comes to me as a pastor and a teacher, and I believe called to a ministry of prophetic work in the world to call out the experience of injustice and find ways for healing and hope in our world, is when there is strife, when there is anger, where there is pain and suffering in our world, when there's illness and grief and loss and death. We often say, well, we'll pray for those souls, right? We'll pray for you. We'll hold you in our hearts. And folks sometimes have a hard time with the idea of being prayed for and what prayer does and the whole concept of in the experience of prayer. I feel so blessed to have had some amazing teachers in my life that have introduced me to ways of praying. And one of those wonderful teachers said that prayer is not meant to change God's mind or to change the outcome or the universe at all, but it changes you. When you stop and reflect, it changes your heart. And that opening, that openness, holding someone else's presence changes that relationship. And then in the connection between you and the person you're praying for has a bond, a connection that does heal, that has a sense of wonder. And I know when I went through my own cancer journey, people were praying for me, and I felt it. I felt it in the connection of these open hearts around the world, holding me in that light and love, and it changed me, and it changed the outcome of my disease. It healed the cancer that was moving through different organs in my body, and I came out on the other side of that as a healed person because largely the prayers that came through you and many others. In a spirit of grace and gratitude and generosity, we understand that prayer changes us. And I hope my story of being healed in prayer helps that experience happen. Now, even if I were not healed, however, even if I had died of that disease, those prayers were still important because those connections were real, and I felt held as I moved through different surgeries and chemotherapies and different procedures in the midst of all of that journey. I felt held in the midst of that, and my family felt held, and that's what's most important. It changes us when we pray. And the beauty of prayer, the beauty of this whole experience of being in relationship, to holding those names out there, people who are sick in body, hurt in their body, hurt in their mind, mental health issues, or sick in their spirit. They're feeling disenfranchised or separate from a divine presence in their lives. These are all prayers that are possibilities of new connections, new formations of relationship and how we can heal each other and the world. It's important to pray for our leaders around the world, not just the ones in the United States, but those all around the world, because they have big burdens and care of other people in their midst, and to soften those hearts and to know that those connections are there. And the more prayers we have for most people, that's how we can change the world. Prayer does matter because it changes us, and that's the first thing we need to do is change ourselves. Change ourselves and put our best self forward in the midst of all this. And the beauty of this is it's never about a competition about who prays more or who prays better than anybody else. Who has the most open-heartedness, who has the most love. Prayer takes away all of that competition. Reminded another one of my teachers was James Finley, and he was very beautiful in the way he tells stories, and the way he teaches meditation about the intimacy of the divine with you, wanting to know that you are loved and cared for, that your soul is precious, and to open yourself up to being loved. And then you can share your love with the others, but you have to receive the divine presence, that divine love inside you in a beautiful way first. And he talks about this wonderful Buddhist teacher who has a bunch of new initiates in a monastery trying to figure out kind of how to do these hour-long meditation sits. And just simply the teacher says to close your eyes, to get in your posture, to take a deep breath and hold it in. And after a few moments, let the breath out nice and slowly. And as you let your breath out, think of the number 1. And then take another deep breath in and hold it. And if you have no other distractions, no other thoughts, no other pieces of your mind that are moving in and through you, then you can maybe say 2. Right? But if you have distractions, you have other thoughts in your mind, just do 1 again. Just keep on going back to 1. And eventually maybe you'll get to 10. If you've done this for enough. And years go by, and one of the students finally says after 3 years, "Oh, teacher, I finally got to 2. But as I took a deep breath in and the 2 came out, then I got so distracted about what 2 meant that I had to go back to 1. And so years and years go by, and the goal was never to get to something else, but to continually to go back to the beginning of your breath and your soul, and your soaking in this intimate divine presence that will heal you. And that's really what meditation and prayer is about. To find all those connections in the world and know that they're all made for you. Every tree, every plant, every flower, every insect, every soul is ready to make you feel just how beautiful you are. That's what I love to do when I meditate in big crowds, is to look at all these different souls, that their beauty and their uniqueness is all a gift to the world. And that just mirrors back to me that I can be a gift as well. I don't have to judge myself or condemn myself for who I am. But I can experience that divine presence in each other, and that's what prayer does. And I hope and pray that we're doing that together today. To take a deep breath in and hold it. And let it out slowly. And knowing that's all we need. To breathe in the divine presence, to breathe in love, and know that that's the hope and desire of God, is for you to feel grace.